Hey guys, welcome back. You would have seen a quick little intro there. The 3D print. So that's straight off the printer. You see they're a little bit scraggly and ugly on the underside where the supports were. I'm not going to show you the process of how to draw it because I'm not that good on the computer and it took forever. There's a lot of other good channels you can go out there and watch to see how to physically make the STL file. Yeah. Little, I think it was 155mm popper. I'm going to sand that up, get it smooth-ish, and then I'm going to hit it with a coat of this automotive spray putty or acrylic spray putty. It should smooth it out. It's the same one I've done the 4-piece swim bait with. Tried my best to orient it, so when I printed it like that, so there was no flat surfaces. So the only layer lines there are around the back of the neck here where it sort of levels out. Apart from that, he's fairly smooth except for the underside. Underside's a bit scraggly. So that's mainly what I'll be working on. And because I already had the file drawn up and ready to print, I shrunk it, made a baby one. So I'm gonna do a couple of them up for myself for the bass. Little guy's 80mm. 80mm pelagic style bass lure. The plan is, once I get him smooth, I'm going to make a silicone mold and cast him out of resin. At least then I can make a few in fairly quick succession. Plus it'll also be a bit of a torture test for the resin. If he catches some big fish, see how strong they are. Alright, I'm going to start working on getting this thing smooth. So I'm going to start off with a bit of emery cloth. This is, I think from memory, a 120 grit. So I put quite a few coats of that acrylic putty, sanded it, another coat, sanded it. The only part now that's a bit iffy is that part, but it's smooth, or it's smooth enough. So we're going to carry on and get to moulding up the big guy. I'm going to reuse the last mould box that I made for the 4-piece bait. I did off camera. I made a 1-piece mould of the small guy. A little one, 1-piece mold. Came out pretty good. He's ready to go for a test swim now to make sure they work. You see that little dark spots, 1 piece of lead, 2 grams, that's all he needed. Sits in the water, sort of like that. Focus, sits in the water about there. We'll test him maybe later today. Yeah, that little mold came out pretty well, works really well. I'd cut 2 extra vent holes. That one, just 1 vent hole wasn't enough because of the profile of that lure is a bit tall there. I didn't compensate for that. I should have tilted him a bit more so all the air bubbles ran up, but it's all good. He works well. Let's get on this big one. So all I'm going to do to prep him for the mould, put a couple of placeholders in for where the line ties and the hook hangers go. So pre-drilled the holes already. So it's literally tuck it in like that, put some epoxy resin around it so the hole's filled and make sure they're straight. I think I need to make a new wire bender too because I don't really like the shape of that. It needs to be more rounded, but it'll work. So I'm going to get a toothpick, dab this UV resin around where they go into the bait just to fill up the holes. I'm going to go out in the sun and set them, and we'll come back and start working on the mould. So they're all glued in. Let's get on to making this mould box. Sounds like we're going to get some free music from the builders next door. So my plan is with this one, this time I don't want to recess the hook hangers in. I found that's getting a little bit like they don't sit in the right place when you make the the harness. So I'm purposely going to sit all the hook hangers on top of the clay, so they're all in one side of the mould. So you guys have probably all seen this before, but get your clay in there, get it nice. You don't have to get it nice, but the flatter your clay is, the nicer your mould turns out. I found someone that sells micro balloons by the kilogram, so I've got a kilo of it coming. I don't know how much that works out to be in volume. Okay Google, what is the volume of 1 kilogram of micro balloons?
On the website polyestershopping.com, they say 1 kilogram, approx 10 litres.
So kilograms, roughly 10 litres of micro balloons, $66. Obviously it depends on the manufacturer and the quality, but if they come out good, that's a bloody good deal. I think I paid $20 for the 32 ounce of bloody Alumilite. Don't know the 32 ounces by volume or by weight. American measurements confuse me. So what I'm going for here, I want most of the buoyancy to be up here, but I'm also going to have most of the lead up here. It's only one high point, so all the bubbles should go up here to the fill port. And then I'll have an air vent here, probably put an air vent at the back, maybe one or two along his ridge as well. Hey, let's get digging. Got it all sealed up. Going around with the brush now. So the brush, I don't know whether they'll focus on that or not, picks up the tiny little bits that are up on the body and on the hook hangers and the line tie. I do spend a lot of time on my moulds, because if you spend the time and get them right, do them well, you have less issues at the end. I've done quite a few moulds when I was first starting, rushed them. Trash, cut them up, throw them out. So I always put in the extra effort, make sure it's good before I pull the silicone. Also think about what you're doing, right? I made a mould, can't remember which lure it was of. I made a mould one time and I didn't think about where the weight was going to sit, and it didn't have a through harness. So if you're doing a mould like this, that little one I showed you before, the small lure, it's just got screw eyes in it, so you got to make sure if the weight's going to sit here in the belly, that has to be the low point in your mould, so when you drop your weight in, that's where it sits. So let's now look at a fill port. So fill port's going to be there-ish. From this point onwards, it's a pretty simple process, really. Just fill up all the gaps around everything I put in. That prepped up. So I'm going to have a vent there to stop any bubbles. Alright, upside down, upside down. A couple of keyholes and we are done. screw it together, pour some silicone. After having a few bubbly keyholes in the past, I always try and keep my keys as big as possible. 10mm drill bit. It's ready to join this mold together and pour some silicone in it. $463mm. Set up. Painted those two while I was waiting for the silicone to dry. Green crackle pattern and a goldy something something. Those eyes look shit, but they're glued on. So we'll see what happens after I clear coat it. Oh, I'm gonna have to pull it apart. Alright, don't know whether that'll focus on that, but see all that leftover clay that's stuck to the lure. Also in there, whoop, in there. So I'm gonna get all that out. So this little brushy brush comes back in handy. Alright, there she is, guys, cleaned up. That was a much bigger task than I was hoping for. So, just standard household petroleum jelly. And is anywhere silicone's going to touch silicone, especially your nipples. Try to avoid getting it on the lure too much. Alright, I'm not going to show you mixing the silicone again. I'll be back when I'm pouring it. That's pretty close. Let's rip this thing open, see how we went. If you haven't used melamine before for your moulds, give it a try. Works well. Done. Ready for next time. Reckon it'll come apart. Beautiful. A bit of flashing over the top, but that's fine. Alright. So she looks good. Obviously with these sprues, the breather holes, I have to clean them out a bit. Happens on every mould though. Plain hard to get. Alright. Looks good. Nice clean. Pretty keen to give that a try once once my resin, my micro balloons arrive. So I'm going to try and make up a bit of a wire bending jig. Got a nice chunky piece of aluminium angle. So mark out the center location of all the pins. Then also while it's there, I'm going to mark out some lines for where we think everything should go. Bit of something like that. Just so I know the rough geometry from the center point up to there, trying to keep it in the middle of the body. Also the same here, middle of the body up to here. Like that one could probably go a little bit higher, but I don't really want to. So we'll go and pre-drill these couple of holes I want. I'll mark them onto the aluminium, and then we'll get on the drill press and drill them. That's pretty much that part made. Now we've got to work on the tool to bend it. Who remembers from quite a few videos ago, my testing dam. Look how many fucking houses are up there now. There's heaps of them. They used to all be bushland. Like that. Okay. So I would prefer to have a much bigger bolt. I'd say, what is it, a 12 mil? Maybe trying to put a 5 mil drill bit there and a 2 mil drill bit over here. If it doesn't work, I'll have to get creative. I'm going to record this, but I don't know whether I'll put it in. Might be dodgy. I found a piece of 12 mil solid bar. Still 12 mil, but I'm trying again. Alright, so there's 2 holes that I'll glue drill bits into. Now I need to figure out a handle. Went surprisingly well. I'm going to try and figure out how to assemble it. Alright, let's see if it works. So I just glued those pins in with 2-part epoxy, 5 minute. And then the T handle, I just put dimples in it, so it forced itself into that hole. Piece of wood underneath the aluminium, aluminum, a little scrap piece of 1.6. I'd imagine for this first one I'll need to put a pin. These are just 5 mil bolts, sorry. No, it's not bad. Have to chuck it in the mould, see how we went. I'll just snip these excess tails off. I'm going to be super surprised if it's the right fit first time. What do you reckon? Put your money on it. No. So the centre's got to come down a bit, which is going to put it out of whack a little. Alright, I'm going to crimp a lead onto that and see what happens. Alright, I'm going to give that a try and see what it comes out like. I'm going to mix up a quick 10% polyurethane microballoon mix and we'll pour it. Alright, we'll give that time, we'll see how we went. Alright, let's see how we went. Looks good. Stuff come out of every air hole, so hopefully no bubbles. Alright, that looks pretty good. A little bit of flashing around in the cup. It's alright though. Is that an air bubble in the eye or what? No, just some weird colour. That's interesting. The nose sprue and the tail sprue broke off before I even got it out of the mould. Came out pretty flush too. A little bit of flashing, a little bit of seam line, a little bit of discoloration. What's going on there? Still good though, it's rock hard. Just gonna go and cut that on the bandsaw. Alright. Tiny bubble there. Apart from that, I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, let's clean her up. Clean her up, get some fake hooks on it and we'll see if it floats. Hope it floats. It's going to be a pretty useless popper if it doesn't. I just took a guess at how much weight to put in that too. Just from past experience. It was a 7-gram lead. Alright, we'll see how much it weighs and make sure it floats. So don't forget this is no hooks. So what's that? Try and get some shadow on it. 63.3 with no hooks. So these 10 gram snake lock heads are similar to hooks and rings. So it should in theory add 20 grams, but let's check. What's that? 77.5. Alright, let's get some water. Hopefully this is deep enough. Once I nailed that, that's pretty much exactly how I want it to sit. It's floating well. Yeah, I'm stoked with that. That's awesome. Alright, might go and give her a test swim, see what she pops like. And it casts like a freaking bullet. Yeah, that works awesome. Happy with that. A little micro pop. Oh guys, here we are. So she's out of the mould, she's all sanded. Just going to give them a quick ISO wipe down. So I've ended up casting 7 of the big guy. I've also got 7 of the little one. I'm going to paint them in pairs. You probably hear the rotisserie in the background this whole filming. I've already painted 4 and they're sitting in there. They're looking pretty good. So, alright, let's get to painting. Starting off, opaque white base coat. So the first one, pretty much going 3 iridescents. Iridescent green, iridescent turquoise, and iridescent yellow. Going from yellow to blue on his back. Stuff sprays pretty well, covers pretty well, so. Iridescent red, minus the crusties. So the little guy is going to be a bit harder to spray, but I'll just wing it. Give that guy some time to set up and we'll start on the next one. I'm going to go your classic black and gold colour. So I've got 2 different golds here. I'm going to transition from the belly up to the back. Polished gold, glorious gold. I'll come across the spine with a pattern. Keep this one pretty easy, I think, because they're all going to have those vinyl decals on them. I'm not going crazy with anything really. Keep them nice and clean and basic. My favourite word. What is it? Keep it simple, stupid. So the only thing with these colours, they spray really well. Now the hard part, what pattern? So I've decided on onion bag, but I'm going to double it over and not go too heavy on the black. Yes, this is a dirty one. I still haven't learnt my lesson. Is that gold dry? Nope. Alright, we might let that sit for a little bit and we'll go back to the other one. So if anyone's ever done this before, they know how tedious it is and how long it takes. But the results come out pretty good. So this is another iridescent electric blue. You reckon go the little one first? Need to move that out of the way so I can rest my hand. I'll bring him a little bit lower down his belly, just with small dots. Nice big red cup. Alright, let's go back to the other one. So let's try this black and gold one again. Don't have to worry too much about the belly because I'm only doing the back and the shoulders a little bit. Just want to make sure it's tight. I don't know what colour I'm spraying through this yet. Obviously it can be black, but what type? Do I go jet black? Do I keep it semi-transparent? I might go for it transparent. I'll use smoke black. Alright. Alright. What colour should I do the cup? Should we go red again or pink? Or orange? This is scarlet. Let's go that. Just so it doesn't take too much away from the golden black colour. I'm going to give it a very light dusting of this. It does come through quite red in the sun, so very light from a distance. Alright, I don't know whether that'll pick up the colour shift or not. No. Stands out a lot more once it's clear coated anyway, but that's going to do for now. That's the end of the painting. So I might actually show you how I draw the eyes and the wings. These wings are going to be super long and skinny. So that was drawing it and cutting it. Now's the slow annoying part, is weeding it, getting out all the shit. So I've done a couple of different variations. I didn't record them all, obviously. These ones, there's no mouthpiece and the eyes are separate. Already made up a couple of extra eyes. I've already tested the placement and the fit. So that's a just like a rose gold chrome. If it would focus, it's too busy shining on the shit below it. Rose gold chrome with a holographic eye. Obviously big guy and little guy, exact same pattern, just shrunk. So I always put borders around everything I cut because it's a pain in the arse to get it off the intricate parts when it's big. But then again, if you got your cut depth right, that doesn't matter. You should be able to just peel it all off. Alright, I'm going to cut them into their individual pieces and stick them on. I don't know whether the camera will pick it up or not, but I did have a couple of issues with this one. I'll put the stickers on it, and if I don't like the look of it, I'll show you one of the other ones I've painted that will come out good. For some reason this one just did not like the clear coat. It's that blue paint. And get it to a point where I can see both ends of the sticker. I need to turn this long ways so I can line up the back end. This is the sort of thing, once you stick that eye down, you're sort of locked in place, you can't change it. So it takes you an extra 10 seconds. Jesus Christ, you can see how lumpy that is under that. Let's see how terrible it looks. That's freaking terrible. It's lumpy as. Apart from that, it looks good. At least there's one good thing about that. The reflection will never be the same. That would have looked worse with a holographic one on it. So I haven't shown either of these two lures in the video yet. I probably should have filmed them because they're probably the best two. Best two in my eyes anyway. Gold pattern down his back. So he looks pretty sick. I'm happy with that. Nice, smooth, no imperfections. Alright, you haven't seen this guy yet either. Coral trout. Reflective spots. He's my favourite. Alright. That's it. Stick it up. Next time you see these guys, they'll be finished. All their clear coats will be on.